Hey folks, we're back and it's time for North Georgia Senior Living with Community Relations Director from Cameron Hall, Jessi Barton. And we're at Sycamore Crossing here in Blue Ridge. Jessi, how are you today?
I'm good. It's like an early fall morning out here.
It's beautiful, right?
I know. All the shop owners opening and it's
beautiful, and it's not going to be too hot. Josh and I were talking early on in the, it's not even been a month ago that early in the morning it was already so hot.
Oh yeah.
And now it's nice and cool and it'll be a pleasant afternoon. Okay, you said you want to talk about Hurricane Dorian, budget cuts, and you had winners and losers.
No, I think I need to start doing that.
Oh, you want to start doing winners and losers?
Maybe. I kind of got jealous this morning because they had some good winners and losers.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting over in the corner applauding them. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Which one first? Hurricane Dorian, budget cuts. How does it go together? What are we talking about?
So it has been the longest, shortest week, if that makes any sense. We were off Monday somewhat.
You're right. I got it. Monday. All right, so we went right into Tuesday, so it's the longest, shortest week. Got it.
4-day week for most people. Obviously, us in senior living, we did have some folks that worked Monday. I was scheduled to be off. I'd worked Saturday, and we get the announcement Savannah has to be evacuated. So we have 3 properties in Savannah. If there is a mandatory evacuation, we have to take our residents. So we have independent residents, we have assisted living residents, memory care residents, and skilled nursing residents within those 3 properties. We also got some folks, some friends from some of our properties in South Carolina. So, mandatory evacuation.
These are the kind of things that I just don't think about.
Right?
Interesting.
Right.
Keep going.
So can you imagine? I mean, I have so much respect for the staff that is helping. Obviously, some families came and got their loved one and took them with them. But a lot of them let their family member come to this safe place up in the North Georgia area. So some of our properties in our area received several of our residents. One of my properties received 89 people. And that's staff members, and they bring their kids with them too because we have to have extra staff members. They can't leave their kids. So we're making accommodations for all these people.
Well, not that it's okay, but if you're in a zone that has, you have a mandatory evacuation, and you're an individual, you have your property, and you decide to, lack of a better way to put it, ride out the storm, that's up to you, okay? And local authority and federal and so forth can't guarantee you services or help until they're able to get in there.
True.
But if you, assisted living, if your company is under a mandatory evacuation, you don't get that option. You can't say you have to evacuate. So that's a big undertaking.
And that's part of the state regulations. I mean, because these are folks that we've got to be able, especially our skilled nursing and some of our assisted, they've got to have access to their oxygen machines.
Right.
They have to have access to their medications. So if you think about what all it takes on their end to put together their personal, throw a bag together, throw their medications, and not just throw their medications in a vehicle like we might, but there's got to be a system in place. There's got to be a system for keeping up. Then you're providing care for all these folks.
So even though your facility is up here in Ellijay in the North Georgia mountains, and we don't go through evacuations much like the coast, you still have to have that evacuation plan.
We do. For natural disasters, we
anything.
do have to have that. That is a state requirement. And so what was fun, though, and this is just my little overachieverness, I got to go shopping Monday. We put little hygiene kits together for all these people, like a little welcome bag that had crackers and their toiletries in it, because they may not have the opportunity to grab all of that stuff, or they may forget something. So that's how I spent my Monday, and poor Brian went along with me, and he was so good, but we shopped all day and got all these things together, and it was just eye-opening as we're putting together almost 200 hospitality kits.
Right.
Gosh, these people are, this is a tough situation.
Well, those are a lot of things all the way up the coast. You just think of Savannah, you think of Charleston, all the way up to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, all the way up the coast. Several states had mandatory evacuation counties, and that was
Right.
happening everywhere.
Right.
Now, Hurricane Dorian. So how are we going to switch into budget cuts?
So I get up this morning, kind of waking up, so I scroll through social media. And Facebook always seems to say, what's on your mind? So it didn't really want to know what was on my mind after I'd scrolled through. First, I got excited because I looked in my memories, and I guess 7 years ago today, I had my first interview at Cameron Hall, so I was making my big adult decision on career change.
Wow.
And so that was kind of neat because I was like, oh wow, 7 years ago I was getting ready for this, exactly where God had his plan for me was to be in senior living. So that was all exciting.
That too. Wow.
Do you?
Yes,
Yeah, that's been a while.
We've been around a couple of years.
Just a few. So then I'm scrolling through, and I follow lots of our state legislature as far as aging services on social media, and funding cuts announced with a big exclamation point. The DHS board met today and approved the following budget reductions to meet Governor Kemp's mandatory budget cuts. The fiscal year 2020 cuts start next month, October. So for fiscal year 2020, they have a 4% cut. 4% doesn't sound like a lot, but for home and community-based services, these are things such as helping you pay for assistance to get medical care if you can't afford it. Almost an $800,000 cut. Our Meals on Wheels program, almost a $400,000 cut. These are essential services that are so desperately needed in our area. But it gets better. In 2021, we're going up to a 6% cut. 4% wasn't enough. So you've got over $1 million cut in home and community-based services for 2021. You've got $700,000 cut in our Meals on Wheels program. So we're cutting funds, and it's increasing at the same time that our elderly population is increasing. Where does that make sense?
Well, I will tell you this now, teeter just a little bit on the opinion side.
Yeah.
I think government is bloated, but I believe in targeted cuts.
Yeah.
So if you're going to take our aging population that is going here, obviously you can't go here with the money that you have allotted to follow that growth there. But I would say there's other areas. So I and then what I think what happens, and not get into our governor and our legislature and start getting deep into that. I think what happens is, if they don't just say mandatory cut across the board, then these people say, well, you didn't cut them, and
That's
you
true.
didn't cut them.
That's true.
But I believe in targeted cuts.
Sure.
I believe in fully funding needs, not wants, needs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then I believe in targeted cuts in areas where I just don't think we have to spend that much money.
Yeah.
So I for one, without going into the details, I would have concerns. We should do another show on it, because when we get into what I call our aging population, that's basically given all to this country and paid their taxes their whole life, it seems like that's when we don't say thank you. I don't know.
Right.
I you know what I mean? I don't know.
And it does
You know what
open
I'm
the
saying?
book. And that's just, it's definitely my initial reaction. I haven't had time to research more this morning. It just hurts my heart a little bit knowing that especially that meals program, because we are in an area of Georgia that is not extremely wealthy. So a lot of people rely on these, Meals on Wheels programs. So I definitely am going to delve in a little deeper. I agree with you. We can always use budget cuts in some areas that we have fluff. I mean, that's personally and government-wise. So I'm interested to see if there could have been other areas, where they could have cut.
You can cut, and you can cut back in areas. So if you say, look, we need this nourishment, X, but we don't need all the microwave popcorn, we can maybe cut that box out. And that's what I'm calling targeted things.
Yeah.
But things like this for our seniors, I do get concerned also.
Yeah.
But don't get me started. See, come on there, get me.
I know. I'm being inspired by the political panel. And I don't think I respect our governor. And
How about this?
Yeah.
We'll probably need to get to the pooch. Okay? How about that?
Brian's
Okay.
like, we're cutting her.
Yeah, no. Let's throw the life raft over there. Let's go to the pooch. Listen, this is Jessi Barton. That's Jessi Barton, Community Relations Director, North Georgia Senior Living at Cameron Hall. Tell them how to, and you want to get in touch with her if you have questions, because I tell you what, you always bring something that I'm just not aware of, and it's great information. I was not thinking at all about the, I call facilities, whatever, because there's different ones, memory care, but assisted living, that when mandatory evacuation, they have to come out.
Sure.
And you guys did a lot of hosting this past week. If let's say someone has a family member in hosted communities, and they want to deal with that again, they want to come to the North Georgia Mountains, how they get in touch with you?
Sure. Give me a call at 706-515-4100 or find us on the web at CameronHallofLJ.com.
I call her the Senior Citizen Concierge. Anything you need, get in touch with Jessi. It doesn't matter what it is, and she will help you any way she can and get you the information or the people to talk to, whatever your question may be. North Georgia Senior Living with Jessi Barton, Community Relations Director, Cameron Hall. We're going to take a break.